Alright, now I know some guys get upset with trailer re-uploads, but I'm hoping that this is slightly more than that. I have some information about zombies that isn't in this trailer. So first, enjoy the trailer, then at the end I'm going to share a little bit of what I know and tell you where I found it.
It was a challenge to try and capture something as iconic as Alcatraz.
You know about this. This is arguably the most famous prison in the world, and now you're in it.
Just the space, the physicality of it, because it's quite claustrophobic. When modern-day prisons are designed, they really consider not intimidating people or making the spaces, as least stressful as possible. Well, Alcatraz didn't suffer from those restrictions.
They did the research, they went out, studied Alcatraz, not just from books or internet. They were actually there to feel the environment, so it really sets a mood that gets you a little spooked.
Well, we kind of started with the base layout of Alcatraz. The entire island we ended up roughing out in kind of a white box form, and then figuring out what play spaces we wanted to use out of that, what would be the most interesting areas to play in, and the connections between spaces, and spaces that the public doesn't necessarily get to go into. We really did a lot of pushing to really enhance that psychological horror aspect that we're really looking for. And this is a really good opportunity to really tell something special.
Like I got stuck right through the gates to hell!
This time around, I feel like it's been identified that there are these side missions that you're going to go out and try to accomplish. Al and the rest of the groups put together this escape plan, but the point is to get the parts and assemble this plane so they can get off the island.
We did something new for the first time. We have actually contextual music that goes off. So that's a first for zombies. And it's all based around this horror thriller aspect.
Every location will have a specific stinger that you hear when you find it, when you discover it, when you start unraveling the story, we start building on the music that you're hearing, and it's really enhancing that experience and going along with it in parallel.
Because we wanted to embrace this kind of horror thriller element, we wanted character actors, guys who could really embody someone and then convey emotion. So that's why we went for guys like Ray Liotta, getting in that kind of guy, we wanted the frantic nature. So he plays a character called Billy Handsome, who's this kind of psychopath who would be employed by the mob to kill people in interesting ways. Chaz Palminteri, he plays a guy called Sal DeLuca, an old mob boss. Michael Madsen playing Finn O'Leary. He's kind of worked himself from the floor, from the streets. He's got his hands dirty and the blood and the guts a couple of times. And then we had Joe Pantoliano, and he plays Arthur Arlington, who's nicknamed the Weasel.
Those guys, they bring a quality and a subtlety and timing that you can't really identify or try to recreate.
Bring it on! Dirtbags!
You start off in the afterlife mode, and that's just going to be what's going on. You're going to try to solve the mystery from the second you start.
Afterlife, to me, brings a new element, like a new puzzle element. It forces me to think a little bit more or look for the clues or kind of think of zombies on a slightly deeper level. You see clues throughout the map that tell you, ooh, perhaps if I'm in the afterlife, I can interact with this object, or there's some puzzle going on here that I need to be in the afterlife.
Back east, I whacked a dirty dentist with one of these. Took forever, too.
Alcatraz has a Civil War kind of fort background before it turned into a penitentiary. And so we had this kind of backstory, the idea that the warden would have collected Civil War weaponry. And one of them is a blundergat. It's a fictional weapon, but the idea of the combination between a blunderbuss and a Gatling gun. And possibly, there might be a way of upgrading it to a more fantastical weapon that the players may find.
We all gotta go sometime. You just went now.
There's one main zombie, one big zombie that's going to come through and wreak havoc on your life. He'll lock down the perk machine, he'll close down the box, so you have to pay to get that open again. So you don't want him to interfere with your process.
Now's a good time to pick a fight.
It's a fun challenge. It keeps things moving forward.
In terms of perks, we have a new perk called Electric Cherry. When you reload, it gives a shock around you, which scales over time.
I was asking for it, greaseball.
There's so much to experience in this map. Every time I play it, there's a new tactic to take, a new experience, a new objective to go for. But there's also this layer of things that we aren't exactly exposing to the players right off the bat and will need to be discovered.
Don't let me go. Is it the calling we hear?
We've got the undead in there, we've got these historical elements, and these fantastic actors all seem to be with peace with each other in this kind of same world. So it's magical, and our team is incredibly excited by it.
Is it the calling we hear? How do we know?
All right, now you guys know that I'm always on the lookout for like news and rumors and stuff like that. And this guy posted on the Black Ops 2 Reddit 2 days ago. And when I first read it, I was like, I don't know how reliable a source this guy is. He doesn't offer any proof, and he doesn't want to offer any proof because it would out him as someone who kind of, like the title of it was, I'm leaking Mod of the Dead, fuck you Treyarch. So he doesn't really want to be identified. Having said that, everything I learn about Mob of the Dead proves him right. And nothing I learn about Mob of the Dead so far proves him wrong. So these are some of the things that he said about this that I couldn't just, fully glean from the trailer. One, it's supposed to be easy. They've done a couple of things to make it easy. One, the perks they added, like the new stuff, was it Cherry Cola that makes it every time you reload your gun, you send out a shock and that shock gets bigger and bigger? It's designed to keep you alive. That Blunder Gat, the shotgun that shoots all those slugs at the same time, that thing is meant to be really powerful. It's almost like, I forgot the name of the big ray gun in Ascension, the one that blasts everything at one time. Anyway, it seems to work a lot like that thing does, especially after you upgrade. So they've done a lot in this game to make it easier. And that, I first heard easier and I thought, no, I'm so elite, I don't want that. And then I thought about it more and it was like, you know what? Ascension is my favorite zombie map ever. Like, it's my personal favorite. So easy's not necessarily bad. It can be a good time on easy maps. I don't like, being bored for 5 rounds and then getting my butt kicked, after that. So, I don't know. I'm glad that they give us a map where it's possible to last a little longer and have even regular players get into like the 20s and 30s and maybe even higher in terms of the round count. Now, in the trailer, he calls it Afterlife, but in the leaked information, which I'll link in the description, by the way, he calls it Purgatory. Something new in here is, how when you die in zombies, you just kind of spectate the other people until they beat the round and then you come back? Now you're going to be in Purgatory, and while you're there, you can move around, you can interact with things, you can build things that when you are resurrected to come back to life, you take with you. So, that's a whole new thing. Now, when you're in Purgatory, you don't just rage quit or whatever, then there's actually things to do, things that will help you with the rest of the game after you come back to life. And it's a really neat, I'm more excited about Mob of the Dead. I put out a video a little while ago saying that I wasn't really excited about the next multiplayer. There was no new gun, and one of the maps was a remake, although a good one, and whatever. But as I see Mob of the Dead, this might be, in addition to Studio, the next firing range, the shining star of the next DLC. So I'm kind of excited about that. A lot of the other stuff that he put in there, in terms of the musical aspect, the zip lines that go everywhere, the horror thriller theme, that's all been confirmed by the trailer that we just saw. So, I think this link in the description that goes to the Reddit post is going to be the best source of info that you'll find on this thing. So check it out and have a good day.